Okay, okay. So in the last lecture, we learned about if. So that was called something called as branching, correct? So we saw that there is one major branching structure that we can use, which is if. It also comes in two or three various formats: if, 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 else, and nested if. What is nested if? What is this nested if? So there is if, there is some condition, I start here, I end here. There is one more if. Okay, it starts here and ends here. Okay, so if inside of if, inside of if, inside of if is called as nested if. Okay, so these we have learned. So this is basically if statement only. Okay, these are just variations of if, but if statement is these four kinds of if statement we can have. Now there is one more that we have to learn during branching or decision making. Decision making, and that is switch case statement. Switch case statements. Okay, so I suggest you to write this everything down, so make this graph as well as focus on this switch case statement. So you can give heading as switch case statement. Basically first give branching and decision making as the heading, draw this diagram, and after this is done you can give the heading as switch case statement. I'll tell you the format for it. Also leave some space for these formats, huh? I've told you about these four formats: if, else if, else if, else if else, and else nested if. I've told you about the formats. Leave some space for that as well, so that you can write it down. So this will be your notes, correct? So whenever you are in trouble, you can just refer to the syntax. Hmm. If and else. If, else if, and else. Right? There can be a simple if else as well. If, comma else, if, comma else if, comma else, and nested if. So you don't have to write this keyword. This is not a keyword. Nested is not a keyword. That's just a formatting. When you have if under if under if, then that is called as nested. Okay, give the heading as switch case statement. Okay, so how switch case statement works? I mean, first we will see where do we need switch case statement. Okay. Okay. So we had so the first example that we did in if else, if else. So we were looking at different values that a character can have, right? So we inputted a character char ch, and then we checked for different values of ch, be it w, a, s, d, correct? So we in the program where we searched for moving, there we found out we wrote if else case statements for all of these, right? So what does this basically means? That rather than having just conditions, we are checking for the validity, correct? So we are checking whether what are the values that are possible by ch. Okay, correct. So we are just checking for the values. So when we are checking for the values, in that sense, rather than using if else structure, you can use switch case structure. Now write down the format or syntax for the switch case statement. Switch is the keyword. Okay, this one is your keyword. Then we have value to check. Okay, then we have case. This case one is also keyword. Okay, and here is condition, or rather than condition, we would write value, followed by a colon. So I'll write value in this sense, a colon, do something, okay, and break. This one again is a keyword, okay. There can be another case as well, case value 2, let's say, okay, again followed by colon, do something, yes, at the end, wait, just keep on writing what I'm writing with the same indentation that I'm following currently, okay. Have you written this down? Okay, so what is happening is we have switch as the keyword, case is a keyword, break is a keyword, and default is also a keyword, okay. So what happens is switch inside of these brackets, rather than writing the condition, will put in the variable that you want to check, okay. So for example, what we'll do is switch ch that we took, correct, ch as the value or the variable to check. So we have char ch, right, and we did a scanf of it, whatever, okay. So we did the scanf of ch, correct. Now inside of this we will put s, has to be smaller, not capital, it is small, s is always small, all the keywords are in small letters, not capitals, okay. So we put in here ch. Now ch would be checked against which cases? One case is where the switch case where the ch is w, okay. Then you will have printf, whatever, okay. Then break here is compulsory, I'll tell you what is the importance of break. Then again case, second case is what? Second case is it should be equals to s, whatever that is printf, whatever. Then break again, this break is compulsory, case a, and so on and so forth, and at the end this default is optional. No, not like return is not optional. This is like else, this is very similar to else in the, so this would be if, this would be else if, correct. Else if, this would again be an else if, correct, and at the end it would be the else case. So default, by default what should it do? It should print me an error, right? So that depends, not every time that it will be a error only, but that is how we will be writing the entire program, okay. So switch case, so now after you have seen this, can you tell me what is the difference between if and switch case? Switch case statement and if, I mean the structure of if else is same. We are giving some conditions here, also we can give some conditions, okay. Here also we can give some conditions, but usually switch case statement is followed when you have definite values to be taken. So write down this, where to use if and where to use switch. Okay. Okay. So this is how you'll be doing everything with if. I mean, you have to decide between whether you want to use if or you have to use switch case. Okay. So whenever you have some undefined values in sense the input is undefined. I mean, you don't know what the input is going to be. Let's say salary, right? Salary is undefined. How much salary? I don't know. So in those cases, you would be using if else. Okay. Condition is also not definite. It can be anything. It can, if there is a range, if there is something else, right? So if the conditions are very complex, you would be usually using else, if else. And if you have some definite values and definite conditions, so in terms of, let's say, the example of the two examples that we've seen till now. One example was the WASD, right? Keyboards. So we have to operate the car. So in that terms, we will be using switch case. Also in terms of calculator, we will be using switch case statement. Why? Because we know that there are only four possible values only that we have to consider. Correct? So that is, which are those values? One for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Correct? So those are the only four that I want to check for. So in those conditions, you will be using switch case statement. Other than that, if the conditions are not, very definite, you don't see that the conditions are like it's finite conditions and every character has to be the same, then you will be using if else. Okay, have you understood? These are the two types of branching. Now there is one keyword that we use, which is break. Okay, case is just in this case, right? So if you look at this here, if we get back to this one, so if in the case of ch is w, in the case of ch equals w, in the case of ch being s, okay, in that terms we are going to talk about, right? So it is basically checking whatever you put variable here, it would be checking for the values here. Okay, so this is the variable and this is equals to what? This is equals to operator. Okay, this case is basically what? Equals to operator. Correct? Okay, have you understood this? Huh. Okay, and it will be a colon, not a semicolon. Okay, now there is one keyword that we have used, which is break. Now we'll be looking at what is breaking, why we need a break. Okay, so now it may happen that you have this start of a program. Okay, there is condition to check, condition to, I need to improve my handwriting. Condition to check, we have a condition to check. Now there will be multiple. So in if else, what we saw, in if else it branches out like this. Correct? In if else, this is for if else. If else, it is branching out like this. So there are some values possible, and whichever one becomes true, that would be the end of program. Okay, whatever that, what you do is your criteria, but it will go back to the end. Okay, this is for if else. Now what happens in terms of switch cases, the branching is not like this, the branching is a little bit different. So we have a start of the program. Okay, we have a condition to check. Okay, now the branching is, look at the branching, it can be this one or this one or this one, and this should be at the end. Okay, Now what you have seen is in switch case, this is for switch. Now how can you see any kind of branching here? No. But what happens is when you have a switch case statement, so this is your switch case statement, right? This much is your switch case statement, right? This much is your switch case statement. Now what happens is, how the branching works, whenever there is a break, so that break brings it out of the switch case statement. Break means break that branch from there. Wherever there is break that branch. So this condition is satisfied, this condition is satisfied, this condition is satisfied. Each one have their own breaks. So if this condition is satisfied, which break will be executed? This break will be executed, correct? These are the conditions and these smaller ones are the breaks. So if this condition is satisfied, which break will be executed? This break will be executed. When this break gets executed, it will break you out of the entire switch case. If you don't have the break, here, what will happen? No, it will get output. Output is here, no? No, there won't be an error. It will then go forward and check for this condition as well. So we saw, if we have if, then followed by if, then followed by if, what is the problem here? Even if this condition has been satisfied, it is still checking for this condition. We have seen that. To remove this what we did else if from the next time onwards, correct? So that only once it is checked. If there is no break here, what will happen is it will continue being in the loop. So it will still go ahead and check for this. Then this will be checked. If it is correct, these statements will be executed. If there is a break, then it will go outside of the break. Otherwise, it will continue checking to the next, the furthermore conditions. Okay, so that's why usually a break is needed, but then again it depends on what is the logic that you want to build. Okay, so what break does? Break brings you out of the loop or out of the what we can say, the code block. Okay, so this is my switch case code block. Okay, this red one is my switch case code block, and this break helps to bring you out of the loop, out of the code block. Okay, so there are two words that you need to remember. There are two keywords that you need to remember. One is break. What can be the another one? Either break or no, case is only for switch case statement. Sorry, you won't be using case for any other thing. Okay, case is the keyword which is always used for switch case statement only. Okay, now we have seen that if we write break, then it brings you out of the code, out of the block of code. So wherever there is a starting, this one and this one, I already told you that curly braces is a block of code. So whenever you have a break, it will bring you out of the block of code. What if we want to, what is the opposite of break? I mean, in terms of computer science, either you break the cycle or continue the cycle. Continue. So these are the two keywords that you need to remember, break and continue. So if you use break, you will be breaking out of the code. If you use continue, you will be continuing with the code. Okay, so rather than break, if you do not give it a break, then it is as equal as writing a continue. If there is no break in the switch case statement, it is as good as writing continue. Okay, if you don't write a break, then it is as good as continue. Okay, only for switch case statement. We'll be looking at where to use these different things later on. Okay, so we'll just see the code very quickly so that once we are done with it, we can just move ahead. You can also try to do it together, or it is up to you when you want to try. Okay, So what I would suggest you is, so we have 2 or 3 cases we have already used where we require this switch case statement. So I would suggest you to try it out using a switch case statement. One of the examples we'll be trying out right now so that you understand. Okay, so now I want to take character as an input. Okay, char ch. Okay, then I scanf. We can use int as well. Int equals 1 2 3 4, that is also okay. Okay, let's do with int. Okay, so inside of this we put what? Inside of switch we put the variable that we want to, or whatever condition that we want to check for, whose value we want to check for, value of which would be checked. Okay, now we have case here, let's say 1. Okay, so let's say this is what I'm trying to do. Have you understood the code? I am checking for a. If a is equals to 1, it should print value is 1. If a is equals to 2, it should print value 2. And in the default, it should say undefined. Okay. Now remember here, when I am writing case 1, I have intentionally given a break here. Okay. And in 2, I haven't given any break here. So we'll see what happens when I give value as 1 and value as 2. Okay. So let's say we give it a value of 1 and it says value is 1. Okay, so this is as good as we printed. We checked for if a is equals to 1, then printf this and ending the code there by this curly braces. Correct. Now look at what happens when we go for case equals 2. Okay, there is no break. Just remember that there is no break. So what happens? See, this one was printed, value is 2 was printed, correct, because it has checked for case equals 2, so a is equals to 2, so this line should be printed. Now because there was no break, it moves ahead and prints the next line as well. Okay, so that is what you need to understand. So break is only for you to bring out of the code or end the execution, basically end the execution of that code. So you can basically break out of the switch, and that's why it is creating a branch. Okay, in if else if conditions, we created a branch by ourselves. Okay, we by default created a branch while using if statement, but while using switch statement, we are not making the branches by ourselves, we are only breaking out of the execution in between, and that's why it is creating a branch. Have you understood? See here again, this is if we have intentionally created all the branches by ourselves, and we know that only one of the branch will be executed. Correct? We have intentionally created the branches by ourselves and only one of the branch has been executed. In switch case statements, we are not creating the branches by itself. Okay, it is a linear execution, but whenever we give it a break, it will bring out a new branch. Whenever there is a break, it will bring out a new branch. From there the execution will stop and it will continue with whatever there is next. So not necessarily it will end. Let's say there is some other code as well. Okay, so let's say here I'm printing, there is one more statement. Let's say here execution ends here. Okay, so what will happen in both the cases, whether I give it as 1 or whether I give it as 2, this execution ends here will be printed, no matter. I have not given the semicolon. Okay, so let's say 1, so execution ends here will be printed no matter where I am, because the only code that is being looked at is this much. Okay, it can break from here out of the curly braces only. Okay, not the entire code. It will not break you out of this code. It can only break you out of this switch case statement only. Have you understood how it executes? Okay, so for most of the part you will be requiring a break here as well. Okay, break here as well. Okay, now if I don't write default, then also it is okay. If I don't write the default condition, then also it is okay. It is as good as not writing the else part of the if else loop that we saw. Correct? In if else, there the else is what? This here, it is default. If else, here it is case and default. Have you understood? Have you understood how switch case statement works? So what are the two types of branching? Okay, done. You will remember both these conditions now, both these syntaxes. Now what you do is you try to write, so that's a homework for you. You'll do it yourself. Write the WSD program as well as calculator program using switch case now. Okay. The first program that we saw, the whether you want to move forward, move backward, move right. Which one? That also you completed by yourself. You have understood. So that's the only part that I'm giving you as a hint, that you'll have to look for the calculation there. Okay, so that how to get that logic that after 97, so after Z it should bring back to A, right? That is your logic to find out how to get that thing done. Okay, 97 plus 26 should be 97. Okay, 98 plus 26 should be 98. So that is your point, how you get to that. Okay, have you understood that much? Also, I mean, what I mean to say is, this one is also possible. If I say I want 97 plus whatever, let's say 2323, whatever, it can be a big number as well. Correct, but that answer should be always in the range of 97 to 97 plus 25. Correct? So it should always be in this range. So just as a hint, you have to use something called as modulus function. You have seen the modulus mod function? Yes. So you have to use the modulus function. Now the modulus function as the operator is percent. Okay, so that percent d, that is different. For modulus operation, this is percent. So let's say I want to do mod 5, x mod 5. Okay, so that would be x percent 5. Okay, you know now how this works. X mod 5 will be in the range of 0 to 5 will be back to 0. Correct? So here you will have to use what? Here you will have to use mod 26 somewhere. Now that is up to you how you use mod 26. But somewhere you will have to use mod 26 so that the shifting value is between 0 to 25. I am telling you right now, no? That is what I am telling you, that this is the function that you have to use. So you know this is addition, this is subtraction, multiplication, division. This one is mod. modulus function. Okay, so this is the operator. नहीं, not in calculator ना, ये shifting वाले प्रोग्राम में था. हाँ, if you want you can add it in calculator as well. I mean there is no problem. Once you know how to do modulus, you can directly add it into calculator as well. Try कर लो add करके calculator में भी, no problem there. Okay. So how do you find out modulus of any number? What is the operator? Percent. Percent is the operator for finding out modulus. Okay. Okay, good enough. So there is some more time left. We can move to the next part as well. Okay. So now we have seen one thing. We have seen linear programming. Okay. Inside of linear programming, we have seen branching. Or this is also called as, no, branching is also called as decision making. Decision making. Okay. Now we have to look at acha. Now let's say, so the last thing that last time once you asked me a question that I don't want to run the program every now and then. So let's say I'm using a calculator. Right now what you have to do is you have to start the program, whatever you choose, either you choose multiplication, division, whatever, it gets executed, and after that the program has to end. Correct? Now the real calculator does not work that way. Real calculator, what it does, once you have done that operation, you can come back to the first operation again. Correct? So that is something called as looping. Okay, loop is, you know, na, loop, you come back to where it started from, so that is called as loop. Okay, so we have to see looping as well. There are a few you know, structures, not exactly structures, but the coding structures that we have to use. Okay, one is while. First one is this one. Just write this thing down. Can just for, you know, better purpose, I'll be writing it with a different here. Okay, next is do while and the last one is for. Okay, just let me know when you have written all of these three down. Okay, so there are three formats of looping: a while loop, a do while loop, and a for loop. While loop, do while loop, for loop. Just let me know once you have written this thing down. If there is anything you can't understand from my handwriting, just let me know. I'll repeat. Okay, done. So these are the ways you can loop in C program. Okay. So now we'll be looking at each one at a time. Have you written this thing down? This is a syntax, okay? So basically, this also means that here you will be doing something. Correct? Here you will be doing something. In the do, here you will be doing something. And in this one, here you will do something. Okay? Okay, good. Now we'll look at the do, the while and do while loops. Okay. So now how does a do while loop looks like? What is the syntax? While a true condition and you do something here. Okay. So now what does this true condition means? A true condition जो हो सकता है, ठीक है. Now let's say we are saying हाँ जो possible है. अब ये यहाँ पे पूरा अलजेब्रा आएगा तुम्हारा, ठीक है. जहाँ पे बुलियन अलजेब्रा जो अपन कर रहे थे मैथ्स में वो पूरा आएगा here. Okay. So let's say I want to do something. Let's say I want to print all the numbers. I mean, write this thing down. This is the question. Web to print all numbers from 0 to 100. Okay. So this is the question for today. Write a program to print all numbers from 0 to 100. Okay. And now we'll be looking at all the three loops and how we can execute that in the three loops. So let's say in the while loop, we have to write down some condition. Now before that, what you require, what will be the data type for the number to print? What kind of numbers do you think it is? What would be the data type? Data type क्या होगा इसका? Int. Okay. So first of all, I require an int variable, right? Int a equals to 0. Correct? Now, when do you want the loop to happen? For how long the loop should happen? How would you say? Up to 100. But what up to 100? In condition terms, what do you say? A is less than equals to 100. No, greater than में तो true condition नहीं है ना, फिर तो false condition है. Until a is less than 100 तब तक करते रहो. जब भी a greater than 100 हो गया, it will come out of the loop. Okay. And what you'll do? You'll do printf %d and a. No. Ampersand is only while reading. Okay, not while writing. Okay. Now there is nothing required here. Na? Break. अभी तो नहीं लिखना है. I'll let you know when to write break. Okay. So this is how you do in a while loop. Okay. But now look at this. Have you increased the value of a anywhere? No. What will happen? This will come to here. We come to here. Int a equals to 0. A is less than 100 right now. So this is a true condition. So all the inside brackets will follow. It will print value 0. Correct? It will loop back because the condition is correct. It will again check the condition. So after printing this, when it comes to here, यहाँ पे end पे आया, it comes. चाहिए ऐसे line निकल रहा है क्या? Okay, it comes back to condition. Okay, this is the looping that is happening from end. It is coming back to the conditions. Again, it checks the condition. It checks the condition. अभी a कितना था? It was still 0. Have you changed a anywhere? No. A is still 0. A is 0 है तो it will print again 0. It will again check. It will again see that a is 0. Again, it will print 0. It will keep on printing 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 without ever changing the value of a. Correct? So what we need to do? We need to do only one simple thing. We need to change the value of a. What we will do? we will just write a equals a plus 1, right? A equals to a plus 1. A has to be whatever is the value of a plus 1 has to be the next value for a, correct? Have you understood this operation? Why do we do this? So right now it was 0. It came, it checked, okay, it is 0, print 0. Now a equals to 0 plus 1 equals 1. It comes back here, it checks, it is still less than 100. So this time the value is 1. This time it prints 1. It comes a equals 1 plus 1 equals 2. Next time it will be a equals 2 plus 1. A equals 3 plus 1. Correct? Have you understood what is happening? Now if I say that you have to print only even numbers, what will you do? What simple change will you do here? Only print even numbers. Yes, plus 2 would give you all the even numbers. Correct? It will give you all the even numbers. All the multiples of 3 plus 3. Correct? Multiples of 4 plus 4. You have understood what is happening here? Okay. Now only for this operation, a equals to a plus 1, there is one more operator. There is one more operator that you can use, which is called as a plus plus. Okay. So this plus plus is an increment operator. Have you understood? Plus plus is the increment operator. It increments. Whenever this executes, it automatically increments the value of a. So if a is 0, it will automatically increment it to a plus 1, that is 1. Okay. So this one and this one is same. Have you understood? This one and this one is same. A equals a plus 1 and a plus plus is one and the same thing. You don't need to write a equals to a plus plus. Huh? This is not correct. You don't need to write a equals to a plus plus. It is simply a plus plus. Here you have to write a. Here you have to write ये इतना पूरा का पूरा स्टेटमेंट इससे रिप्लेस होता है, पूरा का पूरा. यहाँ पे जैसा a इक्वल्स टू a प्लस 1 कर रहे हैं ना, तो ये इक्वल्स टू ऑपरेटर की जरूरत पड़ती है टू असाइन अ वैल्यू. Here assignment is not required. Assignment not required. Okay, there is no need of assignment. Automatically it will increment the value and store it there itself. So b equals to a plus 1 के लिए तुमको अलग से लिखना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, तो ये b प्लस प्लस नहीं कर पाएंगे इसको. ठीक है, दिस इज डिफरेंट, क्योंकि वैल्यू दूसरे का लेके इंक्रीमेंट कर रहा है ना. ये खुद का वैल्यू इंक्रीमेंट कर रहा है कि ये नहीं, वो दूसरे का किसी का बोरो करके इंक्रीमेंट कर रहा है. तो ये अलग से तुमको लिखना पड़ेगा. बट अगर खुद का ही इंक्रीमेंट कराना है, ठीक है, सेल्फ इंक्रीमेंट, सो देन इट इज प्लस प्लस ऑपरेटर. दिस विल बी b इक्वल्स b प्लस 1. ठीक है, ऐसा. Understood? Now in the similar fashion, you have now seen what is the increment operator and how we are going to increment it. So now what will happen if you write this thing down, is this then this, then what will happen, it will print all the numbers till 100. Now at the end, this one is also not required, we'll just do a plus plus for. Okay, now at the end what will happen, a is equals to 99. Correct? Now 99 here goes to plus 1 equals to 100. It will come back here, it will check whether it a is equals to less than equals to 100. Yes, it is less than equals to 100. It will print 100 here, it will come back to this line, it will print 100. But now what will it do, a equals to 100 plus 1 equals to 101. It will come back here and check, is this condition satisfied? No. Then what will do, it will jump back to here, out of the loop. Out of the loop. This one is my loop. This one is my loop. Okay, so once the condition is not satisfied, it will come out of the loop. जब तक कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई होता जा रहा है, it will keep on looping. Once the condition is not satisfied, it will come out of the loop. सबवे सर्फर खेला है? हाँ, अब उसमें क्या कंडीशन होगा फिर? जब तक आउट नहीं हो रहे या जब तक पकड़े नहीं जा रहे, तब तक इट विल कीप ऑन लूपिंग. ठीक है, जैसे ही आउट हो गए, सो हियर यहाँ पे कंडीशन क्या होगा वहां पे उसमें कि नॉट कैच्ड बाय पुलिस. करेक्ट. जब तक नॉट कैच बाय पुलिस है तब तक इट विल कीप ऑन लूपिंग, कीप ऑन प्लेइंग द गेम फॉर इंफिनिटी. वंस इट इज कैच्ड, now if the character is catched, what it says, not catched by police, then it is false statement. Once it is false, it will come out of the loop. Have you understood how to use this if while statement? Okay, so this one is the syntax for if while. Okay, have you written this thing down as well, this web to print all numbers? Write this thing down, web to print all numbers from 0 to 100, and write this answer down as well. This is the answer for it. a प्लस प्लस यहाँ पे स्टार्टिंग से आएगा. ठीक है, ये a प्लस प्लस यहाँ पे हियर. ओके, चलो करके देखिए इसको. इंट a इनिशियली क्या चाहिए मुझे, 0 चाहिए. करेक्ट. नाउ while what a is less than equals to 100, it should print what, %d and this slash n. okay, वो next line पे आने के लिए, otherwise it will keep on doing the same thing. okay, now once this is done, sorry, why the problem, क्यों problem है, it is keeping on printing 0. why? because plus plus नहीं किया था. correct. have you understood now? see, if you can see here, it is printing all the numbers from 0 to 100. okay, good enough. Now tell me, if you want to reverse it, I want to print from 100 to 0, what changes will you do here? okay, okay, good. And what will you do here? Will you plus plus? Will it be small than or greater than? Will it be smaller than or greater than? It will go on decreasing ना, तो जब डिक्रीज हो रहा है तब उसको ट्रू होना चाहिए. इट हैज टू बी ट्रू कंडीशन. कब तक होना चाहिए, कब तक लूप हो, जब तक a इज ग्रेटर देन 0 तब तक. -1 आ गया तो रुक जाओ. ठीक है, दैट इज हाउ व्हाइल लूप वर्क्स. ओके, अब यहाँ पे प्लस प्लस करेंगे या क्या करेंगे, a इक्वल्स टू a+1 करेंगे या a इक्वल्स टू a-1 करेंगे? -1 करेंगे. करेक्ट. so what you will write here, you will be writing a equals to a-1. करेक्ट. अब इसी का सिमिलर, जैसा प्लस प्लस देखा था वैसा माइनस माइनस भी होता है. ठीक है, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज डिक्रीमेंट ऑपरेटर. डिक्रीमेंट ऑपरेटर. ठीक है, दिस वन इज डिक्रीमेंट ऑपरेटर. प्लस प्लस जैसा इंक्रीमेंट ऑपरेटर था वैसा माइनस माइनस इज अ डिक्रीमेंट ऑपरेटर. तो व्हाट विल इट डू, इट विल प्रिंट ऑल द नंबर्स फ्रॉम 100 टू 0. ठीक है, अब 100 टू 1 करना होगा तो क्या करेंगे, इसको सिर्फ चेंज करेंगे 1 तक, ग्रेटर देन 0 कर देंगे. इट विल ऑल्सो वर्क. ठीक है, जैसे ही 0 होता है तब उसका प्रोसेसिंग एंड हो जाएगा. ठीक है, हैव यू अंडरस्टूड दिस? ओके, गुड इनफ. Now we will be stopping it here itself. We have do while loop and for loop, which we will be doing tomorrow. Okay, So for this while loop you have one more question for as a homework for today. Okay, now what will be the logic that you will be using? What is a prime number? What is a prime number? What are the conditions for being number being a prime? One is not a prime number. One is not a prime number. One prime number नहीं है. Prime numbers 2 से start होते हैं. What are the prime numbers? What is हाँ, तो उसका definition क्या रहेगा? How do you define a prime number? ठीक है, वन या itself. ठीक है, तो बीच वाला 2 से लेके उस नंबर तक का जितना भी है उससे किसी से डिवाइड नहीं होना चाहिए, है ना? Then that is a prime number. Correct? Now what does that mean? अब डिवाइड करने की कोशिश करेंगे, डिवाइड तो होगा. करेक्ट. अब जैसा मैं fi से नहीं, हाँ, तो अभी that is what we are going to see for 2 minutes and then we'll be ending it. अब जैसा प्राइम नंबर लेना है मेरे को, तो आई नो कि अब लेट्स से आई एम टेकिंग 3 एज अ नंबर या लेट्स से 7 एज अ नंबर. ठीक है, तो व्हाट इट मीन्स कि 1 तो छोड़ देना है, चलो 1 छोड़ दो. 2 3 4 5 6 ये सारे नंबर से डिवाइड होना नहीं चाहिए. करेक्ट, इतने नंबर से डिवाइड नहीं होना चाहिए. करेक्ट, डिवाइड नहीं होना चाहिए मीनिंग अगर मैं 7/2 करूं, व्हाट विल बी द आंसर इन इंट? 3 आएगा, है ना? 3 आएगा. डू वी हैव टू लुक फॉर डिवीजन? नो, वी हैव टू लुक फॉर दिस. ये क्या हो गया डिवीजन का? दिस इज अ क्वोशंट, है ना? वी हैव टू लुक फॉर रिमाइंडर कि रिमाइंडर नहीं होना चाहिए कुछ. तो डिवाइड तो होगा कुछ ना, या तो 0 आएगा या 1 आएगा, 2 आएगा, 3 आएगा, कुछ भी आ सकता है. अब इफ आई से 97 डिवाइड बाय 2 करो तो उसका वैल्यू कुछ ना कुछ तो आएगा ना, क्वोशंट तो आएगा. माय प्रॉब्लम इज कि रिमाइंडर शुड बी 0. करेक्ट, हैव यू अंडरस्टूड? माय रिमाइंडर शुड बी 0. क्वोशंट कुछ ना कुछ तो आएगा, कुछ ना कुछ तो हमेशा आएगा. तुम दो इंट्स को डिवाइड करने की कोशिश, 0 आएगा, 1 आएगा, 2 आएगा, कुछ भी आ सकता है. मेरा प्रॉब्लम इज परफेक्ट डिविजिबिलिटी यानी रिमाइंडर शुड बी 0. अब रिमाइंडर कैसे फाइंड आउट करते हैं? वन ऑपरेटर दैट वी हैव सीन टुडे. नहीं ना बाबा, ऑपरेटर मॉड्यूलस. अब जैसा इफ आई डू यही वाला करते 7 mod 2, तो आंसर क्या आता है? 7 मॉड्यूलस 2 आंसर क्या आता है? नहीं ना, मॉड्यूलस. व्हाट इज मॉड्यूलस? मॉड्यूलस हुआ है ना 11th 12th में, मैथ्स में था. अरे मैथ्स में मॉड्यूलस ऑपरेटर था यार, नहीं मत बोलो. आईआईटी जेईई का प्रिपरेशन किया है तो मॉड्यूलस कब से, बचपन से पढ़ते हैं यार. ये ऐसे इसको डिफाइन कर रहे थे, इस तरीके से शायद कुछ डिफाइन कर रहे थे मॉड्यूलस को. मॉड्यूलस ऑफ दिस नंबर इज दिस. आर यू सीरियस? यू डोंट नो हाउ मॉड्यूलस वर्क्स? इसका वैल्यू आता है, आंसर आता है 1. तो बेसिकली ऐसा सोचो, दो इंट्स को डिवाइड करा डायरेक्टली तो क्वोशंट मिलेगा, बट उन्हीं दो इंट्स को मॉड्यूलस किया तो उसका रिमाइंडर मिलेगा. ठीक है, ये याद रखना. तो अगर तुमको परफेक्ट डिवीजन किसी ने बोला कि आई वॉन्ट टू गेट द परफेक्ट डिविजन, क्वोशंट एंड रिमाइंडर वाला जो बचपन में एकदम करते थे, वो वाला अगर करना है तो व्हाट विल यू डू कि द नंबर इज बीइंग डिवाइडेड बाय, अब ये ऐसे लिखते थे ना इसको बचपन में, यहाँ पे 2 लिखते थे, यहाँ पे 7 लिखते थे, तो यहाँ पे क्या आएगा, दिस इज माई क्वोशंट, जो माइनस करने के बाद में जो बचता था वो क्या था मेरा, रिमाइंडर। करेक्ट, सही है ना? याद आया ये बचपन का मैथमेटिक्स? तो ये थोड़ा बहुत नहीं तो जाके पढ़ना फिर से एक बार, बचपन में क्या कर रहे थे। कोरोना का छोड़ो, बट ये बचपन का तो पता है ना, रिमाइंडर कैसे निकालते थे, क्वेश्चन कौन सा था, हाँ तो उतना तो याद रहे कम से कम। तो यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन क्या आता था, ये कैसे करते थे इसको डिवाइड, कैसे करते थे इसको, 2 3 6 माइनस करते थे, फिर आता था 1, तो ये मेरा होता था क्वोशंट, ये होता था मेरा रिमाइंडर। ये बचपन का थोड़ा सा मैथ्स जाके पढ़ो, क्वोशंट क्या होता है, रिमाइंडर क्या होता है, ठीक है? तो ये जो रिमाइंडर निकालने का टेक्निक है ना, दैट इज ये मॉड्यूलस, ठीक है? और क्वोशंट निकालने का टेक्निक, इंट को इंट से डिवाइड करो तो क्वोशंट मिलेगा, इंट को इंट से डिवाइड करो तो क्वोशंट मिलेगा। अब मैथ्स करते हो पूरा अच्छे से तो उसमें ऊपर में क्वोशंट रहता है, जो बचा वो रिमाइंडर। तो व्हाट यू विल से कि इसमें लॉजिक क्या लगेगा, अभी प्राइम नंबर पे वापस आता है, तो लॉजिक क्या लगेगा इसमें मेरा कि वॉट एवर नंबर आई इनपुट, अब ये इनपुट तुमको लेना है, ठीक है? अब प्राइम नंबर का ये देखो, प्राइम नंबर के कंडीशंस C1, एक तो वो ग्रेटर देन 0 होना चाहिए एंड ग्रेटर देन 1 भी होना चाहिए, कि 1 भी नीचे अलाउड है, 1 अलाउड नहीं है ना, 1 प्राइम नंबर नहीं है, 2 से प्राइम नंबर स्टार्ट होता है। अब 1 से बड़ा होना चाहिए। कंडीशन 2, कंडीशन 2 क्या रहेगा, ये इनपुट इज x, इनपुट इज x लेते हैं, x अच्छा रहेगा फिर मैथ्स के लिए। नाउ x मॉड्यूलस ऑल नंबर्स लेस देन x शुड नॉट बी इक्वल टू, यानी शुड बी इक्वल्स टू 0, तभी तो प्राइम रहेगा, शुड बी इक्वल टू 0, ठीक है? अब ये मैं तुमको मैथ्स नहीं बता, ये तुमको ये बता रहा हूँ मैं सिर्फ कि क्या होगा, x का मॉड्यूलस उनके सारे नंबर्स में से लिया, ठीक है? दिस इज व्हाट, अब ये ऑल नंबर्स यानी क्या करना पड़ेगा तुमको, सारे नंबर्स 1 by 1 चेक करना पड़ेगा, विच रिक्वायर्स लूप, समझे? ये ऑल नंबर्स लेस देन x यानी आई हैव टू चेक ईच नंबर 1 by 1, सो 1 से स्टार्ट करूंगा, 2 से स्टार्ट करूंगा एंड 2 ऑनवर्ड्स मैं x तक लेके जाऊंगा, उसको x - 1 तक लेके जाऊंगा, टिल वेयर 2 टू x - 1 तक लूप रहेगा। आई हैव टोल्ड यू द कंडीशन एज वेल, व्हाट यू हैव टू राइट इन द व्हाइल, ठीक है? ये ट्रू कंडीशन तुम्हारा क्या रहेगा, इट शुड बी 2 टू x लेस देन x - 1, यहाँ तक तुमको उसको लूपिंग करना है, तब तक वो लूप करता रहेगा। एंड उसमें जब भी तुमको ऐसा कहीं पे फाइंड आउट किया कि वो, अब हाउ वुड यू डिफाइन कि वो x नहीं है, इनमें से अगर किसी एक नंबर पे अगर आता है इक्वल्स टू 0, तो क्या वो प्राइम हो गया? हाउ वुड यू डिसाइड कि प्राइम है वो? I'll tell you only one thing, C3, each number will have a remainder, अब जब इक्वल्स टू 0 होता है, ये जब इक्वल्स टू 0 होता है तब क्या है कि वो डिवाइड हो गया अच्छे से, फॉर एग्जाम्पल 4 by 2 डिवाइड हो गया, तो इसका रिमाइंडर क्या आएगा, 0, तो अगर 0 आया देन इट मीन्स दैट इट इज नॉट अ प्राइम नंबर, क्योंकि डिवाइड हो गया. सो व्हाट यू नीड एज द कंडीशन, कंडीशन क्या तुम्हारे इफ क्या चेक करना पड़ेगा तुमको, डिसीजन क्या लेना है, व्हाट इज द डिसीजन यू हैव टू टेक, कि वो जीरो नहीं होना चाहिए फॉर ऑल द नंबर्स. एक भी नंबर पे अगर तुम्हारा जीरो आ गया तो इट इज अ नॉन प्राइम नंबर. समझे ये बात को? कोई भी नंबर का अगर रिमाइंडर जीरो आ गया तो इट इज नॉन प्राइम नंबर. अगर एक नंबर से डिवाइड हो गया ना, खत्म बात. करेक्ट. 15 जैसा 15 लिया तो 3 से हो रहा है, 5 से हो रहा है, बाकी सब नंबर से नहीं हो रहा है, बट 3 और 5 से हो रहा है. so what you will say there कि it is a non prime number. अगर किसी से भी रिमाइंडर नहीं आया, हर एक का रिमाइंडर नॉट इक्वल से जीरो है, देन इट इज अ प्राइम नंबर. ठीक है. अब ये आई हैव गिवन यू द क्वेश्चन, आई हैव गिवन यू द सिनेरियो एज वेल, आई हैव टोल्ड यू इन थ्योरी कि तुमको क्या क्या चेक करना है. Now it is up to you whether you can build the logic in terms of coding. ठीक है. So you need two things here. One, यहाँ पे तुमको लूप लेना पड़ेगा और यहाँ पे तुमको कंडीशन लेना पड़ेगा, यानी कंडीशन मीनिंग अ डिसीजन लेना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. दो चीजें इन्वॉल्व है, एक लूपिंग इन्वॉल्व है, एक डिसीजन इन्वॉल्व है. तो वाइल लूप का यूज करो, कहाँ से कहाँ तक उसको लूप करवाना वो तुमको देखना है, एंड डिसीजन लेना है फिर लूपिंग करवाने के अंदर. राइट. पहले तुम लूप करवाओगे और हर एक नंबर के लिए डिसीजन लोगे. राइट. हर एक नंबर के लिए डिसीजन लोगे तो क्या रहेगा तुम्हारा, बेसिकली यू विल हैव अ वाइल. ठीक है. यहाँ पे कुछ तुम लिखोगे और इसके अंदर में यू विल डू सम मैथमेटिक्स, एंड यहाँ पे फिर तुम्हारा इफ आएगा और यू विल चेक समथिंग हियर. करेक्ट. तो पहले तुम्हारा वाइल आएगा विच इज डिफाइनिंग कि सारे नंबर्स को लूप तो कराओ, बट हर एक नंबर के लिए डिसीजन लो. ठीक है. ये तुम्हारा फॉर्मेट रहेगा. नाउ आई हैव टोल्ड यू द फॉर्मेट एज वेल. ये फॉर्मेट में तुमको पूरा लिखना है, बाकी तो फिर वो इंट लेना है, स्कैन एफ ले, वो प्रिंट एफ, ये वो तो तुमको ऑलरेडी पता है. ठीक है. ट्राई इट आउट. इट इज अ लिटिल बिट डिफिकल्ट. व्हाट इज डिफिकल्ट हियर इज ये कंडीशंस को लॉजिक में कन्वर्ट कराना, ये थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट है. एवरीथिंग एल्स इज इजी. अब ये थोड़ा सा कंडीशंस एक बार तुमको समझ में आ गए, हाउ द कंडीशंस आर वर्किंग एंड हाउ वी कैन चेक इन टर्म्स ऑफ कोडिंग, फिर उसका आंसर इज इजी. अदरवाइज यू जस्ट हैव टू डू व्हाइल एंड देयर इज अ इफ रिक्वायर्ड. ओके. ठीक है. गुड इनफ. चलो, thank you so much for today. I hope the okay voice was recording today. Just